So we live together.
Yep.
We watch football together.
Yep.
We talk about football together.
Yep.
Why don't we just start a podcast?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eye Test. It's myself, Lyes, and my boy, CultureCams. And yes, the intro is back. I've decided today. I heard your request. We saw the comments. We're back with the intro, man. So stop bugging me about that shit. Cam, been a little under the weather, man.
Bro, mate.
Yeah.
Mad under the weather.
I've been keeping away from this guy. I can't lie.
Honestly, it's been so ill. Just road to recovery, man. Road to recovery.
Fucking
But
hell. That microphone right
bro.
there, the amount of bacteria on that shit, yeah.
bruh, it's peak. But yeah, man. But we're still here. Got to do the content. So looking forward to it, man.
Yes, sir. All right, today is a different kind of episode, guys, because we don't really have like one major talking point for you guys, but we've looked at a few of the, let's say, the trending topics of the last week or so, and we're going to go through every single one of them and briefly give you guys our thoughts on it. So, first and foremost, Bayern Munich retired the late, great Franz Beckenbauer's number this past week. Now, obviously, you remember the 1974 World Cup, Franz Beckenbauer and West Germany's heroics against the Netherlands.
Yes.
First of all, your thoughts on Franz Beckenbauer's game, how he revolutionized the center back
You know what?
position?
The thing about Franz Beckenbauer, I remember when I used to watch him,
Yeah.
the way he was so composed. Like, you see the way we talk about Van Dijk now, or we talk about Rio. Like, this is like one of the, probably the pioneers of this. You know what I mean? The way he would drive out from the back. You know, in that libero role.
Yeah. What you know about the libero
Yeah, the libero role. So that real sweeper. I mean, are they ever going to bring that back? You know, football goes in full circles. Will they ever bring that role back? Who knows? But yeah, he would just come and then he'll drive forward as well. He'll start the deepest, but sometimes he'll end up in attack as
All
well.
jokes aside, his highlights are actually crazy, Franz
Bro,
Beckenbauer.
his
You
outside the
watch
foot
them.
passing and
Bro,
shit.
he's playing like a midfielder at times, man, and the footballing intelligence that he would ultimately go on to, like, you know, we always talk about greatest footballing men in general, right? He was one of those guys that was an amazing player and stuff, but the way he thought the game as well, too, ultimately ended up seeing him as a manager. He won the World Cup as a manager.
Did he win Champions League as well?
Champions League, I'm not sure. I know he won the World Cup with Germany in 1990, but then ultimately became like an executive. Like, he became an all-encompassing footballing figure. And ultimately, like I said, Bayern have just recently retired his number, which we don't really see too often in football these days. I remember growing up, like, there were a handful here and there. Oh, this guy doesn't wear number 3 for this club, for example, for so-and-so. But compared to the NBA, for example, it doesn't really happen as much in football. But who would be a player for you? I think Maldini, to be fair. I think his number 3.
I thought you said number 3 because of Maldini.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, I think his is retired.
No, Maldini's is retired, yeah.
What would be the one for you in terms of retired number? If you could retire one player's number in the history of football that hasn't already been done, who would you do?
Oh, one player's number in the history of football. You know where I think I'll go?
Where'd you go?
I don't know if it's been done before. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I think I might go with the number 10 of Napoli for Diego Maradona.
It is retired.
It is?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
It is retired. That's the reason Insigne wore 24. No one wears number 10 at Napoli. So
they're ahead. Okay,
if I'm gonna name you a few of them, actually, let me really quickly
tell
go
me
through
who's
them.
retired already. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll think. So number 10. Oh, fair enough. They already retired that. Yeah.
Bro, they named the stadium after them. Napoli.
Once the stadium, I was like, okay. But then I was thinking, okay, but they got a number.
Bobby Moore is retired for West Ham.
Yeah,
the
that's
number
a really
6.
good one.
One second. Manchester City have obviously retired number 17 for number 23, for Marc-Vivien Foé.
Okay.
Birmingham City retiring Jude Bellingham's number 22, which
incredible.
was like a laughing stock at the time, but that might age really well. I can't lie. They might have been ahead of the curve with that one. A lot of them, to be fair, are retired because of Brescia have retired number 10 for Roberto Baggio.
So what I think the case is,
Inter retired number 4 for Javier Zanetti. Milan retired number 6 for Franco Baresi. I'm looking at it. A lot of Italian clubs tend to do it. Yeah. England, it doesn't happen so much, but I'm looking through a lot of them, and either it's like an Italian club retiring an all-time great, or unfortunately sometimes it's like a death that they decide like no one will ever wear this number again.
I think it's hard because so you're saying it's basically like, it's the fact that it's an Italian thing. It's interesting. But I think there's also a case where It depends. You're either gonna have it as one club men in a way, like a Javier Zanetti, like a Maldini, or you're gonna have it where I think it's smaller clubs who have had legendary players who have maybe reached a height that they never thought they'll see, a la fucking, I don't know why I say fucking, but a la Diego Maradona, a la what's his name, Baggio, Bobby Moore. Those are like legendary players at not the biggest clubs.
Sure.
So I think that's what you would probably get. I'm trying to think of something that is kind of like that. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if there was that only in Europe that you checked.
Yeah.
Is Riquelme's number retired for Boca
Riquelme was
Juniors?
number 10 for Boca.
That's a legendary number for them.
Maradona wore it. Yeah.
So they wouldn't do that. No.
And that's the thing. Like, there's some numbers as well, too. With Santos.
Yeah.
No, because Ganso, I think, wore it for Santos.
I mean, there we go. They should be retiring Pele's number.
But you know what it is with the number 10, right? I always find that that's that number that's like, do you want to retire? Because you're almost like killing a legacy that could come after it. So, for example, Barca, if they were to retire Lionel Messi's number 10, first of all, think of all the great number 10s that came before him. Obviously, they aren't Messi, but now, Yamal can never wear the number 10 for Barca and paint his own legacy.
The thing is,
in that
to be
shirt.
fair, in Spain, they can't retire 1 to 11 anyway.
Yeah, because you have to.
You have to wear it.
10,
so that's the difference. And that's what you mean you said in the NBA, just a bit different. Because no one really cares about numbers in the NBA.
It's different.
Man are running around with like 60.
Honestly, players make their own number legacy. Like Jordan, what was the number 23 before Jordan came in?
There we go. Exactly. So it doesn't really matter. It's more about the name on the shirt.
For me, they should retire their jersey, and they haven't yet. They said at the time that he retired they would, but in fact, I don't think any player has worn it since. I think they've frozen it, but it hasn't been retired. For me, it's Francesco Totti. I think, bro, you talk about
what number does he wear?
Number 10, of course. For me, but when you talk about significance of a player in their history, he is Rome born and bred.
Yeah.
From the academy to retirement, he didn't go elsewhere after. Yeah. Was the captain, won them
works at the club now.
I don't know if he still works for them, but he won the league for them. He's their greatest ever player. He's their greatest ever figure. That's someone for me. If I'm thinking candidate to retire their shirt. He checks every single box.
Yeah, I think that's a very good one because the other one I was thinking about was like, would they retire Steven Gerrard's number? But then I was like, but there's been success before Gerrard.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, why would you just retire Gerrard? Do you know what I mean? But it's just because I was thinking like Keita's worn it since then, Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they wouldn't retire. I think Totti's a great one. I think that's actually I was also thinking about John Terry. The reason why I was thinking about John Terry is because 26 is a unique number. Do you think that adds anything to it? Because I'm like, 26, it's like such a random number. It's not number 5 where it's like, hey man, people grew up wanting to be number 5. Yeah. 26.
I mean, Levi Colwill took 26
and
this year,
removed it.
No, he had it and then he removed it.
He said he didn't want it no more.
That's too much weight on his shoulders.
Koulibaly wore it. It was a bit of a mess. He personally called John Terry and asked for it and stuff. I'm like, yo, 26. You can retire that.
I hear it.
What's the need of anyone else wearing 26?
Sir Bobby, he wore what number for United? It was number 9, no?
Bobby Charlton, yeah.
I think that's a number.
He wore like a few numbers, but yeah.
But you know what? Like 7 is synonymous for best. 7 should never be retired for United. No. But I feel like the number 9, you know, we don't really have like, okay, we've had great number 9s. I'm not saying that. But have we had like an all-encompassing figure like a 9?
Our 9 was like Saha, innit?
Yeah, and we had Andy Cole. I get that. But like, no one will even come close to Bobby Charlton, and it's also not like a historic number in United's history. 7 is.
Good point.
So I feel like number 9, if we were to ever do it,
will be that.
I think it would be that number.
Yeah, let's just 100% confirm that he wore number 9.
I remember
he was 9.
I remember all the pictures.
I know he wore different numbers.
Yeah, they all changed numbers every once in a while.
But I just want to make sure his longest serving number.
His famous number is number 9. I think for England as well, it was number 9. Yeah, he's number 9. He wore it from 67 to 72.
Yeah.
So personally, I think number 9 could be that one for United.
Number 9 is a good one. Bobby Charlton's number 9 is a very good one. I think also Thierry Henry's 14.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, a unique number.
It's the unique numbers like that.
You don't need to touch Henry's 14.
Yeah, I agree.
Walcott tried it and Nketiah tried it. And it's like, what's the need? That is basic. Oh, and Aubameyang, he did it a bit of justice. Yeah. But it's like, you're basically saying, hey, you are the heir to Henry. You're the heir to Henry. And it's like, why? Why do you need to do that? Whereas if it's like number 10, it's like, 10 is a number everyone grew up wanting to wear. Yeah. 10 is even now is a position. 10 is just like, I'm the maverick of the team. Whatever. 10. That makes sense. 9. That makes sense. 7. It makes sense.
14.
14 is not even a 1 to 11. It's a random number that no one really
like
thought
Trent
of.
at the end of his career, 66.
Yeah, and then you give the next right back 66.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to give him that pressure? You know what I mean? And I think that's the case with 26 of John Terry, and I think that's the case of 14 for Henry. Do you really need anyone else to wear them numbers? No, unless you're literally saying you are the next John Terry, you are the next Henry, and again, that's unnecessary pressure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I just think those two numbers, I would say, are probably ones. And lastly, I'd probably say, because we were just talking about the way we were talking about Totti, importance to a club, came from there. I know he didn't start there, but he's from there. I think maybe Alan Shearer.
Ooh,
I think
Newcastle.
Alan Shearer's good. I think Alan Shearer's number is Newcastle. All-time top scorer in the Premier League. All-time top scorer at the club. What a legend of English football. He's a Geordie as well. I know he didn't start at the Geordie, but he's a Geordie. Come on, Shearer, king.
I think in this day and age as well, too, where players, like you said, are just taking random numbers nowadays. Like, let's be real. Modern day players have spat on the importance of the historic numbers. So why even, like, at this point, for me, I would start doing what they do in the NBA. Start retiring a few guys. Yeah, bro. That helps build the legacy of those players even more as well, too. Next topic. If the season ended now...
Lastly, would you retire KDB 17?
I'd retire Aguero 16. What? 16 and...
I'm booking the numbers. 16, Yaya 42, KDB 16,
Silva,
17. No, actually, don't. Right. Because they...
Aguero's like Kobe, 16 and 10.
Yeah, literally. Oh, yeah, he moved to
same beast, different animals, same beast.
He's going to have 2 jerseys up there, bro.
16 Aguero, though, I preferred. I can't lie.
He was silky them days,
Yeah.
He was silky, but
that's where he had like the little mohawk, but then once he went to 10, he started going like a little... Okay, next topic. If the season ended now, who would be your Premier League most valuable player? Now, I asked that, not the best player, but who's the most valuable player for their team in the Premier League?
Valuable.
I mean, the easy answer here is arguably Rodri, but he's injured right now, so we're not going to include him because clearly the value that he has is something else. Most valuable player for their team in the Prem.
Ooh. I think you can't look beyond Salah.
Yeah, is it still Salah?
I think it would, for most valuable player, when you consider that he is 75% of Liverpool's goal contributions
like that.
For a team that are top of the table, we can only imagine if you were to take away Mo Salah out of that team, how much of an effect it will have on them. Now, I'm not saying take out Salah from Liverpool, then that means Liverpool only score 9 goals this season. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, of course not.
But what I'm saying is just that, like, it's hard to... We're having to deal with reality. And the reality is his contributions, goal contributions to Liverpool this season is just too high. You know what I mean? For me to look past in terms of being valuable. Now, people might have different reasons for a player of the year and stuff. That could come down to what you like. It could come down to... if you like a dribbler, if you like a goalkeeper, I don't care. But in terms of actual valuable to a team, I think it's hard to look past Salah this season at the moment.
I could throw Cole Palmer in there as well too. I think.
Wait, did you say in 2024? Or did you say in
this season so far? I think you could still throw. Obviously, 2024. I think it'd be Cole Palmer. But even this season, when I think about, you're talking about like percentage of goal contributions, I think he would still pretty much rank highly in that regard. And like, I look at that Chelsea attack, and they're all great players in there, but I think a lot of them still require service kind of provided for them. And I think if you were to take out Cole Palmer from that attack, I think that attack kind of falls off. Bro. They're great individual players, but you're looking at Palmer servicing Madueke in behind. He's servicing Neto in behind. He's got this great relationship with Nico Jackson. But yeah, I mean, you look at Salah right now, man.
Yeah,
like, it
Van
seems
Dijk's
like
a good one as well.
Van Dijk, in terms of like he just holds down that team, man. Gravenberch as well too in terms of Caicedo.
Do you know why I think this with Salah just over Cole Palmer for that is because I feel like it's just been non-stop for Salah. I think Cole Palmer went through like a 4-game period, which is nothing. We're just too hypercritical in this era.
It's not even that, but you're also comparing up to Salah, who like hasn't even had that 2 games.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think Salah's had a break. I think Salah's literally... hasn't he scored 7 games in a row now?
Something crazy
7 games
like
in a row.
that. You know what it is with Salah, bro?
Like,
You just,
you know
yo,
what I
you
mean?
look at your phone, right?
Games like Newcastle where, I mean, flipping out, they got a point out of it.
Bro,
but
he got a point. That's
yeah, exactly.
Newcastle 3, Liverpool, Salah 3.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I'm looking at that, I'm just like, not even to try and discredit Palmer in any way, because I just think we are hypercritical in this era. 4 games without a goal, bro. Back in the day, you wouldn't blink an eye at that. You would just be, oh, okay. Now it's like, he's a fraud. So, but the fact that he just went through that little period and the Salah has just non-start, I'm going to give it to Salah.
I just think too, like I got FPL on my notifications basically just to see like, oh, do I have a player who did something? So I get every single goal and assist basically.
Oh, yeah.
Every time Liverpool score, bro, I'm looking at my phone and it's either goal, Salah, or assisted, Salah.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't exist in FPL right now without Salah. So yeah, in terms of value, it's hard to look past him. I threw in the most valuable, maybe a caveat, maybe we could sneak someone else in.
I think he's been quite good as well. Maybe I think like a random one might be like a David Raya. I think he's been
Raya,
kind of valuable.
I think it's got to be one of those Arsenal defensive players, right? Just in general, like
I think even the defense hasn't been as
no, but you look at Gabriel in terms of like his value to that team off set pieces,
as well.
like crazy.
True.
Next topic. Is Jaden Sancho finally finding his home at Chelsea? Obviously scored his second goal of the season, 2 in a week, one against Southampton, scored that brilliant goal against Spurs. He played a really good... I said myself, I think that's his best performance against Spurs that he's had since he came to England. And I mean, it looks like he's finally finding a home at Chelsea. What do you think?
I don't really know in terms of like finally finding a home, because I think that was his best performance I think that was the best performance for a long time. I remember when he went to Dortmund the second time.
That game against PSG was really nice.
That was good, but I really like that performance that he had against Spurs. He looks happier. That's one thing for him. You know what I mean? At Man United, he was walking around depressed. He didn't look happy. He had issues with the manager. The burden of the club started getting a lot. And you're playing for a team that are losing. That's the reality. So he didn't look this. He looked like a shell of himself. But at Chelsea, he looks a bit happier on the pitch. Not interviews and anything, just on the pitch. When he's celebrating with his teammates, he looks happier. He looks more up for it. So I think in terms of comfortability, he's found himself a home, 100%. Performances, I think there's still room for improvement. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he's back, Dortmund version's back or anything like that. No, I think the Conference League has given him a boost as well. I think he started pretty decently. Then you didn't see him for a few games. He had some injuries. He was on the bench. He was ill, whatever it was. But I think in terms of comfortability, in terms of feeling important again, I think he's found himself a home at Chelsea. Now it's just about being consistent, because often what people want to do is that something goes well and everyone's like, where's your apologies? Where's this? Nah, the Jaden Sancho that you know, or we all know, was a top player at Dortmund. And that's what everybody wants to see again. But the difference is, when he's at Man United, he's judged as an £80 million signing who we want to see you replicate 20 goals, 20 assists that you did at Dortmund. At Chelsea, he's a 25...
He's judged a Man United flop.
He's a Man United flop, 25 million. Hey, we'll take a gamble on him. So the expectations are a little bit different. But that doesn't matter for Jaden Sancho. What matters is, can he reach his highest level? And I hope he does, bro. That's the... Well, not for... I don't want Chelsea to go and do amazing... Actually, I do want Chelsea to do amazing things, because we don't know Liverpool or Arsenal to win the league, or City. But you get what I'm trying to say. I think for him, on a personal level, I think he'll be much happier at Chelsea than he is at United.
Nah, definitely. I think that's without even a question. You know the thing with Chelsea's wingers that I'm like, do any of them have a permanent home there? You know who's pulling up in a few months, right? Esteval coming.
Yeah.
Kendrick Paez coming. I like Sancho. I like Madueke. I like Neto, but they're nice right now. They're leading Chelsea to big things this season. But long term, when you have a guy who is considered a prodigal talent, or is it prodigal or prodigal? They got onto you the other. I think it's prodigal. They got onto you the other day for that. I saw the way you were saying it. You're like prodigal or something.
I didn't even see it.
But yeah, when you got someone who's coming in that is considered a prodigal talent, like an Esteval, or potentially a top talent like Kendrick Paez, who play in those that attacking three behind the striker, and they come in. They're coming in with a reputation that Sancho came in when he was at Dortmund. So at the moment, it looks absolutely incredible. And I agree with you. Me personally, I saw someone on Twitter the other day say, Man United fans, would you rather Sancho win the league or Liverpool win the league. I said, are you guys tapped?
But I think
how are we equating Sancho to our greatest historical rivals ever? You're two online.
Yeah.
I would like to see Sancho. I'm like you. When I see a good, young, promising player, I want to see them maximize their potential.
What I hate is that, people often expect you, if something goes wrong at your football club, they think that you want to wish the worst on another player. Or honestly, bro, if anyone, it's the same thing. These guys at Man United right now, for example, I'm not enjoying their football. I'm not. But if they leave, bro, I don't care what you guys go and do, bro. Go and enjoy. Yeah. Go and enjoy your life, bro. Man don't want you to suffer and kill yourself or something. Like, go and enjoy your... No, but honestly, go and enjoy your life, bro. Go and enjoy your football. McTominay, go and enjoy your football. Sancho, go and enjoy... Lukaku, whoever, bro. You know what I mean? It's so weird. And this is what you always say. It's people treat things like campaigns.
Bro, I always...
man's
facts.
not here to say, what? My ball, he didn't flop he flopped at my club, so he needs to flop. Bro, I don't get listen.
That's why I always saw Cam. Football Twitter now has become a presidential campaign for footballers. Everybody props up their favorite footballer as if they're propping up their favorite artist or their favorite presidential campaign. And it's everything has to be mass propaganda so that they're seen as the best. Yo, step outside your house for a second, man. That's not how real life works.
100%, bro. And we've seen before players that have been deemed as flops one place become heroes somewhere else. Yeah. You know what I mean? What they say, one man's trash and another man's treasure, right? And not saying that person is trash, but okay, let's say, for example, Dennis Bergkamp was seen as an Inter flop.
Yeah, no, of course.
And he's Arsenal's top 5 greatest players ever. Bro, this is what happens in football, man. And it's not going to stop only here, bro. It's going to keep on, but... Yeah, man. So Sancho, I think, in terms of, just to wrap it up, Sancho, in terms of comfortability and finding a home, I think he's found himself. Now it's just about remaining in that team and actually becoming a top player for Chelsea.
Staying on the topic of Chelsea, Maresca says Chelsea are not title contenders. Is he wrong?
Maresca. I know what you're trying to do. I got
you. Hold on. There are 2 big horses, and there's 1 little horse. And the little horse needs milk, and it needs to be... But next year, we're ready to race.
But nah, bro. You know what? Listen, I hear what Jose was saying. Jose, it made sense. But I think Chelsea this year, when you look around the league, Chelsea are in a title race, bro. Chelsea are... Now... one thing that people do now in this day and age is that they associate title race with basically saying you will win the league. Doesn't mean Chelsea win the league. Liverpool are the favorites. Liverpool are the favorites. That's the fact. But Chelsea are in a title race.
Of course.
If Liverpool were to slip up and Chelsea, they're right there. Chelsea are in a title race right now. They have the quality that they are showing on the pitch. They have the manager now. That's got everyone playing at their maximum, which people accused Pochettino of limiting certain players. I personally think Pochettino was a necessary evil that Chelsea needed, as somebody that needed to go through that process for a Maresca to come in and do what he's doing. But Maresca at the end of the day is doing it. He is getting the best out of players. He's getting Jaden Sancho playing. Nico Jackson's playing at a good level again. I do think maybe a Neto or someone needs to contribute a little bit more. Noni's playing better, I think, personally. Caicedo is playing at his best. So Chelsea,
hold on. You don't think I forgot? I was waiting for you to say one name in there, bro.
Who?
Are you going to give credit to Caicedo, to Neto?
Enzo's doing a little bit better than he was. He's doing a little bit better, bro.
Get his ass!
No, Enzo's doing a little bit better,
bro. His last few performances, bro.
It's not to the point where I'm going to... Listen, this same thing as Jane Sancho thing. It's not to the point where I'm going to say...
I think Enzo's playing a lot. The last few games, anyways, I think he's performing at a higher level than Jaden Sancho, bro. The last few performances, Enzo, for me... is performing again at to justify the price tag. That's gonna take a little more, but bro, he's playing for me one of the best midfielders in the league in the last few games, bro.
I'll be so real. For the goal, the last game that they conceded against.
Ain't nobody perfect.
We moved, but
you're one of those guys, bro, on Twitter,
bro.
Enzo performances minute 32.
But honestly, he's got them. So Maresca's got them playing in all honesty, like in terms of the title race, I think Chelsea are in the title race. I think now, do I think them the favourites, and do I think they must finish ahead of like an Arsenal, for example?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, do I think they're going to win it? Probably not. But Chelsea are in the picture. And one thing that Chelsea are showing, and the thing is, football is all about perception.
Sure.
Football moves quickly. It's all about perception, right? The perception is now, when you're looking at the Chelsea team, you're like, oh, they have got a lot of talent. They got this and that. Everyone knew they accumulated talent. There was some average players as well. But now they've filtered it and they've got their men. They brought in Felix's for the bench and Kunku. They've got Neto. They've got a good enough squad of talent. So when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, you've got a good starting 11. You've got a good second 11. Why can't, in this Christmas period, you still maintain? Why aren't you going to brush away some of the teams that you're playing? They're playing a lot of the teams in the bottom half. We always say the title race starts in like February. I'm looking at their fixtures. I'm looking at their squad. I'm looking at the health of the squad, the mood that they're in. What's to say Chelsea won't be there in February?
That's true.
So, I mean, so from February, that's when you call it a title race. I think Chelsea will be there in February. So, why? I think they're in the title race, yeah.
I agree with what you said at the start, right? I feel like people, when they talk about title race, the reason no one wants to be associated with a title race these days is
because of the
you guys are all cowards, bro. Yeah,
you
guys are all afraid of the word. You guys are all afraid of being accused as bottlers. But, bro, one team wins the league at the end of the season. That doesn't mean that they were the only team that were challenging for it. Last season, there were 3 teams that were in a title race. Only one of them won. And this season, I think Chelsea will probably be there towards the end. I don't expect Chelsea to win. And if they don't win the league this year, unless they go at some point 15 points clear, which I don't think is going to happen, and then they lose it, okay, then that's a little bit of a bottle right there, similar to Arsenal a few seasons ago. But I expect Chelsea to be there towards the end of the season. And the thing with Chelsea as well too, right? This is perfect because they came into this with no expectation. I mean, I don't want to say no I don't want to like start devaluing the fact Chelsea spent all this money, but realistically, they didn't have the expectation of winning the league this year. That was not one of their targets.
It wasn't.
So the fact that they're even in conversations like this, they've massively overperformed already. But I expect them to probably be there around March, April time within like a single point tally. They'll be sniffing on Liverpool, hoping that they drop a point here and there. And realistically, right, when you're in a league, for any team in the league, this is for any team. More often than not, you're looking up. Unless you're towards the bottom, right, and you're like worrying about the guys who are kind of like pushing you in a relegation battle, for the most part, you're always looking up as a team or as a fan of a team. Us, we're looking at the teams right above us in terms of, hopefully Spurs can slip points here. Hopefully, I don't know, these days Brentford can slip points here. Chelsea are going to be looking at Liverpool's results these next few weeks. They're not going to be looking at Man United's results. They're not going to be looking at Spurs' results. They're going to be looking at Liverpool's results and Arsenal's results.
Yeah.
Title challengers.
Yeah.
Therefore, how can you not tell me you are title challenging? Yeah. That doesn't mean that you have to win it, but you're in the race for sure.
And that's the thing. I think people, again, as I'm saying, I think people, they think, oh, don't try and put the pressure on my club or whatever. It's not even really about that. It's really, you could be in a title race and then fall off. And in match day 28 or something. Yes. Okay, it happened. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Bro, Ten Hag's first season, if we were thinking, okay, beat Palace, then we've got Arsenal. Now, if we beat Arsenal, we're in the race. That is the reality. Yeah. Didn't happen that way, but that is just, bro, pre-season predictions, and which is why even this season I said, pre-season prediction content is my worst content. I hate that content because 99% of the thing, you're going to be wrong.
Of course.
We're just sitting there to be wrong. Like, it doesn't even make sense, right? So when you, like, for example, when you say, like, nobody expected them to be there, facts. But that doesn't matter, bro. Yeah. We are dealing with reality.
That doesn't mean that all of a sudden now, because people had you finishing 6th.
Yeah.
If you don't finish 6th, that's a 6. Okay. I'm trying... Just because people had you finishing 6th doesn't mean that 6th is your obligation. That doesn't mean that 6th is a good season for you guys. You guys have clearly surpassed our expectations. But then the standards and the expectations adjust as the season goes on.
And that's exactly, they adjust as the season goes on. You deal with reality. You know what I mean? What they always say, views will change depending on new information, right?
Yeah, of course.
So if you get new information, like, okay, wow, Cole Palmer's still on player of the year form. Oh, wow. Caicedo and Enzo have gone up. Oh, wow. They're now looking a little bit more solid. Cucurella coming off the Euros as one of the best left backs. They're continued as the best. You're looking at it like, oh, okay, something that you may not have seen before. It's happening now, but you're not going to be like, no, because I didn't, because of my pre-season prediction, that doesn't make sense. Do you know where I'm coming from? When Arsenal went in 22-23, who at that point said they were going to win the league?
Bro, they had 50 points after 19 games. We're still going to say Arsenal finishing 5th is a good season. Like,
exactly. So you got to deal with the reality of the situation, man. And teams can emerge from anywhere. And one thing is, my these are my two favorite sayings that I like to use in football, right? Perception is everything, and football moves quickly.
That's my favorite saying.
Football moves quickly, bro. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you thought in the start of the season. It doesn't matter what you think about Chelsea's takeover. It doesn't matter what you think about whoever. You can never predict. And this is why I always used to say, bro, when people used to be like, when Pep falls off, Arsenal are going to dominate the next 5 years. I used to be like, that's not going to happen, bro. That's not how football works. Football moves quick, man. And that's the reality, bro.
No, 1,000%, bro. I think in general, not even just the title race, but we always think there's a team that's like set to... For me, I'll never forget after the 2018 World Cup, I remember somebody tweeting on my timeline specifically saying, oh, France, they just won it. They're poised to win the next 3. Like, France, their age and like the talent that they got, they're probably going to win the next 3 tournaments. And I was looking, I was like, what? Who's the last team to even repeat a World Cup?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like the 50s or probably something like that, or maybe the 70s. And I saw Spain, amazing team. They couldn't do it. Football moves quickly, exactly like you're saying.
After that, after that World Cup, I proper remember people actually posting the France team that played in that final and talking about how bad they were now. Pogba, Kante had a little remontada, but remember that people act like he never went through some struggles. Kante, there was Matuidi, Giroud, Leroux. Bro, they were all horror players at that point. No, it was mad, fam.
They were saying like, oh yeah, France, the players that they got coming through this, that, like they're no, bro. You look at France, like they just had a horror Euros. Yeah. Like they got chaos in the camp. Griezmann's retired because he wanted the armband. Like
the game moves quick, man.
It moves quick. Final talking point. Let's move to Italy. The Serie A title race. How legit is this, man? 6 teams within 7 points of each other. Atalanta currently at the top. Napoli trailing them. Inter are third with a game in hand. Could be level with first. You got Fiorentina having an amazing season. Lazio having a bounce back. And Juve, who are undefeated in Serie A, yet have more draws than they do wins.
It's incredible.
Crazy title race.
I actually think, right, Serie A might be the best league, you know. I think it might be the best league. No, now, let me say why I think it might be the best league. I think it might be the best league in terms of a narrative, right? In terms of how we're talking about that title race. Do I think it's the best league in terms of spectacle and quality? Probably not. But in terms of the competitive nature at the top end of the table, I think it's got to be the best league, bro. Like, this is incredible. Like, not every year, but it feels like every season there's changing hands in the title. A team pop up, like, and become really serious contenders, like how Atalanta are doing. Napoli did it at one point. Inter are hanging around there. Juve have now got a new manager. I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking every single week you're looking at that top 6, top 7, and it's just changing.
And bro, that's not even mentioning Milan, who are in there. Milan aren't in the title race, but they're like a spanner in the works against everybody. Bologna are a really good team.
It's like proper, like always interchanging. And then like I'm always looking at the Serie A table and I'm like, oh, this team are top. And then you just look at like 4th and they have like 2 games in hand. Yeah. And you're like, hold on, if that team win, they're top. Yeah. So I think like that league is so interesting, it's so fascinating. And it's definitely a league that I've said that this year, I'm going to try and pay more attention to. This second half of the season, I'm going to be watching a lot of Serie A games because that is exciting. Yeah. That's what it's all about. And now, again, I'm not saying it's the best in quality or spectacle. Some of the games are a bit wishy-washy. But in terms of narrative, come on, man, that's exciting, bro. It's exciting. Who's winning the league for you?
I still have Inter, man. I still think Inter are the best team in the league, bro. I think Inter are one of the best teams in Europe. I respect so much what Atalanta are doing. Like, Gasperini has those guys firing, man. We were watching them against Real Madrid yesterday or the other day when this is out. Bro, what he's done with Lookman, what he's done with Retegui, who really should have buried against Real Madrid, by the way. But that team, just in general, is a well-oiled machine that are so fun to watch. Like, you talk about Serie A in terms of quality. I think sometimes, bro, honestly, like, we're looking at it as through Serie A lens, biased lens or whatever. But when I look at the Prem quality these days, and I look at Serie A, I'm like, there really ain't that much of quality, bro. I saw Arsenal go to Atalanta, barely get away with a draw. They went to Inter against a depleted Inter. They couldn't beat them. It's supposed to be one of the best teams in the Prem. I don't think the quality these days is all that different. I think in the past few years there has been a huge discrepancy, but these days I think even in terms of like the quality the teams play, it's definitely up there, bro.
Let me not say quality. Let me say the spectacle. I think I enjoy in terms of a spectacle the way the Prem is played. Let me just say. Then sometimes I think Italy sometimes a bit slower, and the crowds sometimes I just don't think are as. I'm talking about just a whole as an entertainment value. I would say
as
that
a product, you're saying,
yes.
I think the Premier League sells that. I honestly, I think the Premier League is the best product, maybe even sports-wise in terms of how they sell it. But I also think for the longest time, football fans have been kind of using the product angle as like a crutch in terms of the color on TV and the commentary is much more. I'll tell you that it's much more interesting in the Premier League than it is in Serie A. And just like everything, right? But in terms of the actual quality on the pitch, I think for years now the Premier League has been selling itself as the best league, the best league, but I feel like the quality has been depleting in the Prem. And when I look at Serie A these days, like, again, I'm not trying to say this is prime Serie A, for example, but genuinely speaking here, quality-wise, I don't think it's that different these days. But yeah, I have Inter, right? I just look what Inzaghi is managing to do with these guys every single year, bro. I even look in Europe, like, how many teams can I honestly say I would have over Inter in a two-legged tie? Yeah. There's not that many, so... I think right now Atalanta are flying. Napoli are also doing really, really well. Conte, man, these single seasons with no Europe is a problem. But I think at the end of 38 games, I think Inter again will win the league.
Yeah, I agree.
You think Inter?
Well. Yeah, I think Inter will do it in the end. Inzaghi. I want Atalanta to do it.
Yeah.
I want Atalanta to do it, yeah.
I was telling Fuad the other day, right? Because Atalanta, really, what they've done with Gasperini in the last 10 years or so is insane. It's probably similar to what Simeone has done with Atletico Madrid. Okay, it's a little different because Simeone was up against Messi's Barca and Ronaldo's Real, but also Simeone, as bad as Atletico were still in the league, in the first division. Gasperini took Atalanta when they were in the second division, bro. And I remember growing up, Atalanta were never a team in Serie A. I looked at bro, half the time when I started watching football, I don't think they were in Serie A. Yeah. Like the first time I ever saw Atalanta, I think was on PES, and I was convinced it was like, oh, is this Inter with like different licensing or something like that, bro? So what he's done with them, and then the players he's lost, like the Iliciches, the what's his name, that Papu Gomez guy that they used to have, to now what they are, I think they deserve so much credit,
and it's nice, man. You know, it's nice to see the age of the guy, man. You know,
the
age of the man, bro. Like
he's 66, I think.
Yeah, man. The game is a modern day, innit? It's a modern game, and everything's about like new ideas and stuff. But for such an old person, he has some new ideas.
Yeah. Okay, Unc.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, you got it, bro. He still got it, man. See what I'm saying? Unc still got it. So yeah, man. Honestly, when I look at him, I'm happy. I like that story. It's kind of like, you know, when Sarri won his Europa League with Chelsea. Yeah. That was nice, innit?
Yeah. Like, guys, that's all our topics for this week. Let us know what you guys think about this kind of style as well, too. Do you guys prefer like the single episodes where we focus on one topic, or more so like this niche week roundup? Let us know. We'll kind of go with that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the eye test. We're back next week as well. No, we won't be back next week. Next week is Christmas, New Year's time. So we'll give you guys a few weeks off for that. But we'll be back very, very soon. Check us out on all of our platforms. Cam will be back streaming soon as he picks up his health. Me, you guys know I'm on Twitch. Check out BR as always, of course, too, powering the podcast on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Peace.